In Fintona, Northern Ireland, they still use the tram car. It carries them in comfort and is perfectly adapted to their local requirements. The tram car, long an accepted feature of city life, is a direct descendant of this kind of tram, the horse tram. From the main line junction, this tram provides the link with the village of Fintona, County Tyrone. Its passenger loads are quite light, so that having regard to all the special circumstances, the horse is still more economical than its interesting survival remains, because it is an efficient as well as a picturesque. Directly descended from such beginnings is the electric tram. Already a familiar feature of city life when this vehicle first went into service in Newcastle over 40 years ago. In the years that followed, great improvements were made, and the tram car gradually became larger and faster, more comfortable, and more pleasing in appearance, as in London. But handsome is as handsome does, and the improving appearance and comfort of the tram car were but the outward and visible signs of inward improvement in motor design and methods of control, thus leading eventually to the modern tram car. As in many a big city, the tram car still carries large crowds, cheaply and efficiently. In this drawing, we shall be able to see the beginning of the electric tram car, and how, with the passing of the years, its popularity waxed and waned. From a modest start in 1890 with a mere 3 miles of route, the eventual success of the tram car was assured. Numbers grew rapidly, and at the turn of the century came a spectacular increase in the route mileage operated in the British Isles. Although the trolley bus had been tried out earlier, it was not until the 1920s that it began to take its place as a public service vehicle. After 1927, the number of tram cars began to decline, although the vehicle itself continued to improve. Gone was the open top deck with its ornamental wrought iron. Gone was the narrow, cramped interior. Modern trends made themselves felt, even though the tram car was giving way to the trolley bus. The statistics, the tram car and trolley bus have been plotting their own graph all the time, and here it is. Trackless tram was the rather apt name given by the public to the first trolley buses, which by intense research on motors and control equipment soon developed a marked individuality, as this early London trolley bus shows. All over the world, widely varying conditions of climate, passenger needs, and operating requirements produced a wealth of knowledge which, with the continuing electrical research, led to the trolley bus of today. An urbane passenger vehicle, swift, quiet, and, despite its size, agile as a cat sidling through the traffic, as well-mannered to other road users as to its own driver, conductor, and passengers. To see what goes on inside the trolley bus, we'll examine one at the manufacturer's, where on a completed chassis about to be tested, the electrical equipment can be seen. Control is by a large pedal operating the master controller that contains also the reverser, the lever of which is conveniently located by the driver's seat. As the pedal is pressed, each contact in the master controller energizes one or more of the contactors. The contactors are the electrically operated switches that control the main current for the motor, which by a short propeller shaft and the normal differentials drives the back wheels. The flood-proof motor, no bigger than a gearbox, has a 1-hour rating of 130 horsepower. Starting resistances are used to ensure smooth acceleration. This schematic diagram shows the essential parts of the circuit. By putting the trolley poles onto the power lines, the bus is connected to its power supply. Then the circuit breakers are closed and the reversing lever, which controls the reversing switches, is put to forward. The operation of the control during acceleration is as follows. The first movement of the pedal closes contactors 1 and 2. This connects the line through the starting resistances to the motor. Sufficient torque is thus provided to start the vehicle. The next step closes 7 to energize the shunt field. And the motor accelerates one stage further. Acceleration is maintained by cutting out the starting resistances. For simplicity, the drawing shows only 4 resistance sections. These will be cut out in turn. Pressure on the pedal to step 3 closes contactor 3. The current thus bypasses one section of resistance and the motor speeds up. In the same way, the motor is accelerated through 3 more stages by closing 4, then 5, and then 6. Now there is no resistance in circuit, and the motor is connected directly across the line. Further acceleration is obtained by field weakening. So the next stage opens 7, cutting out the shunt field. Further pressure makes 8 close, and the current is partly diverted from the series field. This is the second stage of field weakening. In the last position, the pedal is fully pressed, closing 9, and the field strength is reduced to its minimum. The motor will now run up to an optimum speed, dependent on the gradient and the weight of the bus. From the driver's point of view, reversing is simply a matter of shifting a lever. With the reverser in the forward position, the flow of current and the rotation of the motor will be as before. In the reverse position, current flows through the armature in the reverse direction. And the rotation of the motor is therefore reversed. Electric braking is, of course, an outstanding feature. Here is the chassis being tested. Let's see what happened. By allowing the pedal to rise, the current that flows through the motor is cut off, but the armature is still driven by the momentum of the bus. On pressing the brake pedal, however, conditions change. This closes 6, 7, and 11 to excite the shunt field from the line. And by closing 10, the armature and resistances form a closed circuit. The current generated is loaded onto the resistance and the armature slows down. As the current generated falls, the shunt field strength increases, keeping the braking force constant. Part of the resistance is then cut out by closing 3. And the speed drops to about 3 miles an hour. From here, the mechanical braking halts the bus. Here's the trolley bus beginning its day's service. Little preparation is needed to make it ready for the road, and that little is easy. Consequently, garage staff is cut down considerably. Once the booms are on the trolley wires, the bus is linked with its power supply, and all that remains is for the driver to go to his cab, get in and prepare to drive off. While waiting for his conductor, he closes the circuit breakers and the control switch, and sees that the reversing lever is in its forward position. The conductor's aboard, and looking both ways from habit, he rings the bell. We're all clear behind, so away glides the modern trolley bus, a docile leviathan, effortless in its abundant power, beginning another day in the service of its masters, the fare-paying public. Under certain conditions, single-deckers are preferred. Here is one in Mexborough, an industrial borough in Yorkshire. Some of the earliest trolley bus systems were in the north, where these vehicles have given many years of satisfactory service. Because of this, they are still referred to as the trackless, a term dating back to the early days of trams without rails. The single-decker, although rare in Britain, is very popular overseas. At Bournemouth, they unload at the front and load at the rear. Conveniently drawn into the curb, the trolley bus spares its passengers the ordeal of dodging the rest of the traffic, which can press on unhindered on the offside. Drivers, too, are saved strain and fatigue by the simplicity of control of the trolley bus. One pedal for going, one for stopping. Less fatigue, less chance of accidents. A wide range of movement either side of the overhead wire gives the driver plenty of elbow room, which aids road safety and facilitates traffic flow. And this sturdy independence has helped the trolley bus to maintain its unique position in public transport, and with its large reserve of power can easily accelerate even on gradients like this. Undoubtedly, areas served by trolley bus routes are on the road, both literally and figuratively, to development and progress. For the fare-paying public do not object so much to a daily journey to their work via this comfortable and cheap form of transport. Thus, trolley buses help to bring trade and industry by bringing the people on whom they both depend. While the passengers get quiet, smooth riding for their money, the operators secure advantages in maintenance, replacements, and repair, thanks to the small number of moving parts. Rheostatic braking, as shown by this Rotherham trolley bus, is an admirably smooth and efficient means of stopping. It is the inverse of the characteristically rapid acceleration of the trolley bus, which then demonstrates its most marked feature, quiet running at high speed. The absence of the usual engine noise and vibration is, of course, of immense importance to passengers. Loading in the center is one of many variations available to meet the different local requirements of both passengers and operators. Trolley bus drivers have at their command all the resources of modern electric drive, leashed in by rheostatic braking. Swift as a greyhound, it puts up a performance as handsome as its own sleek, modern look. Serving a suburb of industrial Wolverhampton, this bus demonstrates a degree of maneuverability surprising in what is one of the largest public service vehicles on the road today. Round it comes, full circle, and heads for the city's industrial centre, hungry for more work and further loads of passengers. Certainly, the holder of a ticket on a trolley bus should be satisfied with a public service vehicle which will take him from Wolverhampton to Walsall as smartly as that. Walsall, another British industrial area, operates this one of the many types and varieties of trolley bus designed for differing traffic conditions. There are double-deck, single-deck, 2- and 3-axle, front, rear, and centre loading buses, all at the fare-paying public's beck and call, and ready in 2 shakes of a boom for thousands of miles of silent service. And not only in the old country, but also in the new countries, as here in Johannesburg, South Africa, do British trolley buses carry the people of the big cities. Johannesburg, wealthy city of 750,000 population, demands high municipal standards, and therefore selects this most modern form of transport, the speedy, economical trolley bus. Easy riding, silent, reliable, it has large passenger per hour capacity and quick, easy loading. At Cape Town, too, the trolley bus proves its perfect suitability to hot climates, with its absence of fumes and engine heat, and its body capacious and airy. Cape Town's 500,000 population gets itself to work and home again, and about all its big city business, with less congestion and greater speed and efficiency, thanks to these wonderful public service vehicles. This is the trolley bus, born and bred in Britain, yet at home in cities the world over, as in this majestic and southernmost African city. Here, as everywhere, the trolley bus reveals its homely virtues of reliability, of high quality, and of finish in every detail of design and construction. These, then, are the reasons why the trolley bus has earned a worldwide reputation for efficiency, for silent service.